Hi guys. Today we're going to look at adding or subtracting fractions with different denominators. In our previous example, we looked at adding and subtracting fractions with similar denominators, and we looked at adding and subtracting fractions with multiple denominators. So in this video, we're gonna look at denominators that aren't really relative to each other. So there's no multiples, it's not common. So an example of that, a common example, if you have 4 over 5 plus 3 over 4. So in this example, you can see that there isn't any common denominator, or we can't really have a multiple here of a fraction when we actually make it equal to another fraction in terms of denominators. So in this case, there's actually probably several ways of doing this, and I'm going to use two different ways of doing a adding fraction with different denominators using the same example. So whatever that I guess makes sense to you, you can use either of them. They all work. Depends on how you want to do it. So I guess the simplest way you can probably do this is multiply the bottom numbers by each other. So 5 times 4 is equal to 20. So that's our first step. And our second step you can do is multiply 4 by 4. So we're going in a diagonal here. So that's our second step. So 4 times 4 is 16. And our third step is going to be multiplying 5 by 3. So if I just circle that, so I'm just going diagonal like that, and that's going to be equal to 15. And once we have this, we can actually add them up. So our answer is going to be 31 over 20. So that's our answer. And this is like a quick way of doing adding or subtracting fractions. Doesn't matter if you had subtracting fractions. It's the same principle, same thing apply. The only difference is instead of having a plus, you probably have a negative there. But let's use the same example, and we're going to use a different method explaining how to add this, and then we're going to probably get the same answer. So let's have a look at that. So if I write this question, 4 over 5 plus 3 over 4. So normally, you probably need to find the common denominator in this. So you probably have to look at some multiples. So, look at two numbers that you can multiply by and you get the same answers as a denominator. So, for example, if you multiply 5 by 2, you're going to get 10. 4 by 8, you're going to get, so 4 by 4, you're going to get 8. And they're not the same denominator. So we need to actually keep on looking, see what multiples we can get. But to make things a bit easier, what we can do is we can actually multiply, and I'm going to put this in bracket here, multiply the first fraction by 4 and the second fraction by 5. And then when we multiply those denominators, we're going to have a denominator as a 20. So we can actually see that we do have a denominator as 20, so therefore we can actually add these two fractions. So just remember, when we know that the 4 in that bracket is actually multiply the fraction itself. So when we multiply the fraction itself, we have to multiply the bottom and the top numbers, which are the numerators and the denominators. So 4 times 4 is going to be 16 over 20. And then we do the same thing with the second fraction. Okay, we'll multiply that top and the bottom numbers by the number in the bracket. So in this case, it's going to be 15 over 20, and that's going to equal to 31 over 20. So you can see that both methods work, and you can use both methods, whatever is easy for you. A lot of students actually use, from experience, the first method. They both work, so you're more than welcome to actually pick which one you want to use. Just